The Chicago Bears just found the perfect pick late in the NFL draft. What's up? This is Sean at Sports Talk Bears. Greetings from vacation in Florida. I just wanted to jump on here for a minute and talk through this with you. If you like the material, hit the subscribe button, join our community that we have here. And so we've got all the chatter about the 1st and 9th picks, but I think the real test of the draft is what we do in the 3rd and 4th round. So let's just go through this for a second. So the Bears enter into the start of the free agency period earlier and out of the free agency period with still having a need on the interior of the offensive line. I mean, we've built depth, but following the NFL Combine and where we're at now, that need is best addressed in the draft as opposed to bringing in a free agent on the market at this point in the year. And a player that really sticks out to me is Bo Limmer out of Arkansas. He's an intriguing prospect, and he definitely requires a look with our 4th round pick. I really love his profile. More on that in a second. And he just checks a bunch of boxes in what GM Ryan Poles looks for in measuring the impact that players provide. I mean, Poles and the teams, their front office, they've done a solid job identifying talent on the offensive line through the draft we're talking Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones at tackle. I mean, even Tevin Jenkins at guard when he's healthy. I mean, I think they've done good work. I think we can agree with that. But the Bears have already met with a few notable centers in the draft. And Arkansas's Bo Limmer, he should be on the radar after the Combine. I mean, he's yet another guy that matches what Poles has been looking for, multiple positional flexibility. And judging by the RAS score he put up in the Combine, he just has great explosion, and his agility measurables are super favorable. We'll get into that for a second. But let's go ahead and look at his measurables, and I'm going to bring that up right now. And his measurables, we're going to go to the RAS score here, as you see on the screen. That stands for Relative Athletic Score. It's an evaluation tool developed by Kent Lee Platt. We're keeping it in the division here. He's a longtime Lions fan, but he got a little tired, like the rest of us, of media types using words like explosive and athletic. How many times do you hear that during the draft, right? And using these words to describe players without really any way to quantify it. So what the RAS score does, it rates players against their peers past and present. It's an algorithm, and it helps determine a prospect's RAS, how it can be broken into 2 different categories. Physical measurements, I mean, that consists of a player's height, weight, hand size, arm length, and testing numbers, which can come from the NFL Combine events, right? Drills like the 40-yard dash, the 20-yard shuttle, the vertical jump. It's just such an excellent metric for measuring players. And Ryan Poles, he brought this measurable into the Bears organization as the primary tool for player evaluations in the draft. And frankly, they use it in free agency too. So here it is. So Bo Limmer, he's an offensive guard prospect in the 2024 draft class. He's also played a lot of center. He scored an unofficial 9.8 RAS out of a possible 10. That's incredible. And check this out. It ranks 30th out of 1,445 offensive guards from 1987 to 2024. Once again, that's pretty impressive. Let me say that again. 30 out of 1,445 offensive guards in the last almost 40 years, and he's going to be available in the 4th round. So if we check out this scouting report, and you can find this on bearswire.com, I'm going to keep the RAS score up, but here's the skinny on him. Strengths. We're talking lateral quickness and explosiveness when run blocking, the ability to get to the second level and extend run plays. I'm quoting from the scouting report here. Versatility to play guard and center. So how does this fit? This really falls in line with a metric that you see here. His vertical and broad jump numbers, those speak to hip explosiveness. That's a huge thing that Ryan Poles covers in offensive linemen. It really tells a story here. And we're talking a 10 out of 10 in the vertical and a 9.28 in the broad. That is just fantastic. And then we're going to talk about lateral quickness. The lateral quickness that the scouts are talking about right now, it's also shown in the lower right if you look down there this way. The elite agility scores here, that's in the 90th percentile as well. So let's be honest here. It's not all roses. So let's talk about weaknesses. This is the scouts' take on his weaknesses. So they're saying he doesn't have the same explosiveness when asked to play center. That's interesting. The lean athletic build, it makes it difficult for him to anchor against power rushers, and also his play strength. It's adequate at guard, but it doesn't jump off the screen. So if you continue looking here, as the RAS supports as well, his size isn't elite and he needs to spend some time bulking up. His score on strength specifically is a 9.9 out of 10. Now that's encouraging. And to add bulk, that should be an easy task, right? I'm going to get rid of this RAS metric here. You guys get it. So here we go on the first explosiveness point that the scouting report brought up regarding positional fit. As he builds some size in the weight room, starting out as a guard, that could absolutely be a perfect play for us. And if the interest is there, Bo Limmer could land with the Bears and immediately slide into a starting job in the 4th round as a guard initially. Limmer showed out at the combine. He recorded the most reps on the bench press while running a 4.57 shuttle from an offensive guard. That is absolutely sick, brute strength. That's something that he possesses. But his performance on the field, that is there for sure as well. Limmer, he only allowed 3 sacks. That's right, 3 sacks and only 12 pressures on 422 pass blocking snaps in 2023. That's according to Pro Football Focus. And also, here's the thing too, Limmer was ranked as the 5th best center in this year's draft class. And that's on most positional ranking boards. We can quibble about that, but about the 5th best center. But one of the reasons I love him as well, it's that he also hits the pattern of our offensive line pattern that we've gone through in the offseason with all the free agents that we brought in. And that goes with versatility. So as well as playing center, he also has experience at guard after playing a total of 794 snaps at right guard during the 2021 season. And he's the ideal plug-and-play prospect the Bears are looking for to add this offseason as a guard starting out. And also, don't forget this, after already trading for Ryan Bates and signing Shelton to a 1-year contract, the Bears, they can actually start a competition right now between the two to determine who will start at center initially while Limmer learns the pro game, gets veteran mentorship from these guys. And here's another important part. He could be fully loaded, fully ready to go next year while providing value immediately right now. The RAS metric really speaks into the possibility of this being the case. And if you remember, our starting left tackle, Braxton Jones, he seemingly came out of nowhere, right? After being drafted in the 5th round. His RAS score, it's almost a carbon copy of Limmer. I absolutely love this prospect. And at the minimum, he's a guy who will be a valuable depth piece to have up front. At max, he will immediately start at guard and take over the center role in 2025. Here's the final question. So why do we need him? This is looking at filling our defensive end need in the 1st round, drafting a wide receiver possibly. We could pivot here at our 4th rounder to still address the line. I mean, if Joe Alt is gone at number 9 and we end up going wide receiver, we don't want to get out of this draft without addressing the offensive line, at least in a cursory way. Chicago lacks an NFL caliber starter at the center position. Lucas Patrick, Dan Feeney, they haven't inspired confidence, right? They haven't looked like they can protect the interior of the offensive line. There are also questions at guard, but given the injury history of Tevin Jenkins and the inconsistent play at best of Nate Davis, the Bears, they could just use a player who provides depth and the ability to start in both roles. And I think it's worth a roll of the dice in the 4th round. I think he's an excellent prospect. And yeah, let's see what happens. Hey guys, I know I don't have to tell you, leave comments here for me. You have done that freely. Let's not be too brutal. Actually, the negative ones are kind of funny, but appreciate you guys watching as we build this channel. We're driving towards 10,000 subscribers. So please, if you like the material, hit the subscribe button and I will talk to you again tomorrow from Florida as well. Bear down, fellas, and I'll see you later.